you have some breaking news.
How does it all play out?
It's quite an adventure here at CBSN.
It's been a day.
Every Sunday night at 8 on CBSN, Stop the Noise.
At some point, people will push back, and they'll push back with violence. It will be force.
And turn the world.
There was another large hotel chain that 18,000 were let go.
Right side up.
That's what's being attacked right now with the climate crisis.
Chaos meets clarity in eye-opening original documentaries anywhere you want to see them. Sunday nights at 8, only on CBSN. Every Sunday night at 8 on CBSN. Stop.
There's a guilty until proven innocent mentality with a lot of these social media mobs.
Think.
This idea that there's something wrong with you if you're fat, that you're ugly.
And stream out loud.
Companies are operating the largest system of censorship that the world has ever known.
Eye-opening original documentaries anywhere you want to see them. Sunday nights at 8, only on CBSN.
Going to court is the way we resolve uncertainty in our country. So, no, I'm not troubled at all by the president suggesting that, because the other side's already doing it too. And you can anticipate in close elections, both sides will be lawyered up and we'll end up in court.
That was Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell earlier today speaking about the election and its legal aftermath. A growing number of lawsuits are triggering fights over which ballots should and should not be counted. There are currently about a dozen major voting lawsuits pending nationwide. More are expected. Many of these cases are in battlegrounds like Pennsylvania and North Carolina. As we mentioned, President Trump has prematurely and falsely declared victory over Joe Biden. During that announcement last night, the president said he plans to take his own legal action.
For the good of this nation, this is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want that.
For more, let's bring in Jessica Levinson. She's a professor at Loyola Law School. Professor Levinson, great to have you. Thanks for joining us. So does the president actually have the legal authority to take this ballot discrepancy directly to the Supreme Court?
No, he doesn't. And he said it's time to stop the voting. We're going to have to assume that he meant it's time to stop the counting because, of course, nobody is continuing to vote. The election is over. We had weeks, and then the last day of the election cycle is Election Day. I think what he means is let's stop counting the ballots that either haven't been counted but arrived by Election Day or will be late arriving ballots, meaning they're postmarked by Election Day and they're allowed under state law. But I suspect he worries that those will not favor him. You asked me specifically, does the president have the authority to go straight to the Supreme Court? No, he doesn't. So first, what you need is to find a law that was violated. You have to find some sort of irregularity, not a comment that there's an irregularity, but a statute that was violated, an evidence of violation. Then you go to the district court. In this case, you would ask for emergency relief from the district court.
Process.
Appeal then to an intermediary court, a court of appeals. Then you can appeal that again to the U.S. Supreme Court. It takes 4 members of the U.S. Supreme Court to decide to hear a case. There are at least a few members of the Supreme Court who will be extremely excited not to get involved in this particular election. And that's how you wind up in the Supreme Court. We're not yet there. It is 2020. Everything is possible, but we're many, many steps away from that.
All right. Well, in 2016, as you know, the Supreme Court intervened to halt voting in the state of Florida, and that's what the president seems to be at least asking to happen now. Why do you think that would or wouldn't happen?
Yeah, so far, what we don't see is the type of irregularities, the indicia that there has been some sort of fraud, that there's been a breakdown in the system, that something has lacked integrity. So far, what I've heard and seen, and of course, there might be something else out there, but what I've heard and seen is really, I hate to say it this starkly, but it's the President of the United States who doesn't like the outcome. But I have not seen any evidence of fraud, of illegal behavior, of some sort of election snafu. Of course, the courts of law cannot rectify a candidate who's unhappy with a political outcome, but that is what you would need in these cases. You would need to show that ballots that should not be counted are in fact being counted, that ballots are being counted improperly, that the local county registrars and state election administration officials are somehow not fulfilling their duties. I have not at this point seen evidence of any of those things.
So I also want to ask you about this lawsuit that seems to be getting a lot of attention right now. It's in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Now, Republicans allege that the county is notifying only some voters whose mail-in ballot may have had a defect, like a missing signature, and that gives the voter an opportunity to fix it. Republicans believe those ballots should be thrown out because of a federal equal protection violation. So, Professor, what is the legal argument here, and what is your assessment of that argument? Is it a strong one?
Yeah, I hate to give you this answer, but I think it's too soon to tell, because at this point we've seen the Republicans' allegations, but we haven't seen
I'm an annihilator. For me, this is easy. I have the belief, I have the desire. I'm the greatest fighter since the conception of God.
My trademark was my speed, but I can do it all.
The difference in you and me, that is my death by dying doing this. A man for man, nobody can match me.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Thank you so very much for joining us here on this very special day. This is the very first press conference leading up to one of the most anticipated, one of the most talked about sporting events of 2020. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year, back in January, that we would be getting ready to watch Mike Tyson, yes, Iron Mike Tyson himself, the legend Mike Tyson, come out of retirement, compete in his first fight in over 15 years against fellow legend, Mr. Y'all Must Have Forgot himself, the great Roy Jones Jr. It all goes down November 28th, live on pay-per-view, and in particular on TysonOnTriller.com. And you'll be able to watch it all over the world. It's a 4-fight main card beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's something for everyone on this card. Of course, you have the two legends, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., going toe-to-toe in a heavyweight fight, 8 rounds, 2 minutes each, an exhibition bout that will be scored by the WBC, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves. They will be going toe-to-toe to determine who is the baddest man of all time. Also, in cruiserweight action, in the co-main event, we have YouTube sensation, the 1-0 Jake Paul, going up against Nate Robinson. Yes, that Nate Robinson, formerly of the NBA, the 3-time slam dunk champion, making his boxing debut. They'll be going toe-to-toe in cruiserweight action. In light heavyweight action, we'll have Badu Jack the Ripper, going up against Blake McKernan. And kicking off the main card will be cruiserweights Vidal Riley and Rashad Coulter, the former UFC fighter. So like I said, something for everyone on this card. And on this press conference, we will be talking to all 8 competitors on the main card. They will all be joining us from different locations. We'll be joined by the media who will be able to ask questions. Usually I'm the one asking questions. I'll do a little of that as well. But this is all about the media, and fans will be able to ask questions as well. So this is going to be a great time. And I know it's debate season. We've seen some crazy debates as of late. I'll be keeping law and order here, so things won't get too crazy. Actually, I'm just joking. Things are going to get crazy here. So strap on your seatbelt. All right, let's get things rolling here. Let's go First up, let's talk about Vidal Riley and Rashad Coulter. They're kind enough to join us right now. This is a lot of fun. This is very exciting. Both men right there in front of you. And I'm going to kick things off here for a couple minutes, and then we'll go to the media. First off, guys, and Rashad, I'll start with you. I've had the pleasure of covering your MMA career. Of course, remember your time in the UFC. I know you have one boxing fight on your record. That was 5 years ago. Why are you making the transition now from mixed martial arts to boxing?
I just want to say thank you, man. Thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Ariel. And thanks to Triller, thanks to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. for allowing me to be on the card with them. I mean, boxing is something that I've always loved, man. I grew up watching Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. It's not that I haven't fought in so long. I've always boxed. And if it was up to me, I would have more boxing matches, but I don't. But I'm not crossing over. I've been doing boxing. This is just so happened to be my first fight in boxing in a few years.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, Vidal, for you, some fans of yours and fans of the fight game will recognize you as the trainer for the very popular KSI. You've been by his side, but I feel like people are disrespecting your skills, my man. You have a very extensive boxing resume. So for those that may not know, or for those that just think that you're, the guy who trains KSI, let the people know where you've been in the boxing world.
Well, thanks for having me, Ariel. Let me get into this. It's gonna take a little while, but no, I've been boxing since I was 2 years old. I won my first national title at 11 years old, continued to win more, so I ended up winning 8 national titles, representing Team GB, captained the England team, went to the Youth Olympics, European medalist, World Championship competitor twice. So yeah, I've had my fair share of boxing in my life, and meeting JJ KSI, as you referred to him, was a way of propelling me into public eye. But the work's been done behind the scenes for a long time.
Okay, great stuff there, and I appreciate you letting us know. In the words of Roy Jones, you almost forgot. You actually have your own career. You're not just a trainer. So, all right, let's go to the media now, and I'll call upon Josh Evanoff first of Courtside Sound Off. You have the first question, Josh.
Thanks, Daryl. I have a question for Vidal, and I also have a question for Rashad. For Vidal first, you signed with Floyd Mayweather and the Money Team last year, and my first kind of question is, how essential has it been being with fighters of that caliber, being with somebody like Floyd and Jeff Mayweather, and building upon your already amazing background? How essential has that been for you working with a team of that caliber?
That's been great. That's been literally what I needed. I don't feel out of place. The reason why I'm signed to is because I'm destined to go into the same place. Working with people who have that attitude and their ceiling is so high, it makes you want to fulfill those expectations. So working with Jeff, my new coach, Otis Pimpleton, these are people that have been around world champions, been around the highest level for a long time. So when I'm in the ring with them, when I'm training with them, I'm just soaking up all the knowledge that I've already had from the past, combining it, and you'll see how far it goes.
Okay, awesome. And then for Rashad, you brought up how boxing was kind of your thing and how you have a background in that. Now, you mentioned how you haven't fought for a couple of years. Was it a bit of a surprise to you to get that call to fight on the undercard of a Mike Tyson, Roy Jones fight against somebody of, high stature and high caliber like Vidal is?
No, man, it wasn't a surprise to me. Man, I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, man. So it didn't surprise me that a door was open on a card of this magnitude. But man, listen, I hear that he's been around for a long time and he's, he knows boxing. He grew up boxing. I'm just grateful that they gave me the opportunity to even step in there on a card like this. And the truth of the matter is, the only reason why they're giving me the opportunity is because they think it's going to be an easy fight. But I'm okay with that. And like I said, I do appreciate Vidal. I appreciate Mike Tyson and Roy Jones for even giving me the opportunity to display my skills on such a high magnitude card.
Josh, thank you very much for the questions. Before we get to our next question, I just have to ask you, Vidal, do you agree with what Rashad just said? Do you feel like this is an easy fight for you?
No, I don't think any fight is easy. no, I don't think any fight is easy, but if they end up being easy, then that's just how it goes. You know, I prepare for a tough fight. I always prepare for the highest level of competition or position, but you know, that doesn't always happen. So I'm trying to repeat that process throughout my whole career, and I don't see why November 28th should be any different.
Okay, again, as you just said, November 28th on pay-per-view, Tyson on Triller.com. Let's go to our next question. Let's go to my man, Michael Fidel of The Body Lock. Michael, you're next.
Thank you. Question for Rashad. Rashad, obviously, many MMA fans will recognize you from your UFC career appearances on UFC 211, UFC 225. In what ways has preparing for this fight, a boxing match, been different for you? Who have you brought in as far as training partners, and how are you approaching returning to the boxing ring after a lengthy MMA career?
As far as that goes, man, I don't really have to bring anybody in. People think that I haven't done boxing, but you got to understand, man, my very first sparring session ever in boxing was right in front of Derrick James and Errol Spence Jr. I've been around EJ, I've been around Charlo, I've been around Maurice Hooker, I've been around so many boxers since 2014. I mean, I've sparred like Alex Clarkson, I sparred Adrian Taylor, I sparred Cam Awesome, who has like almost 400 amateur fights. So me seeing Vidal's credentials, it doesn't scare me because I've been in there with guys who have the same credentials, or no disrespect to him, or even greater credentials than he does. So I feel like I'm right at home, man.
Thank you for the question, Michael. And Vidal, I want to ask you, have you ever seen Rashad striking? Have you seen his MMA fights? Have you seen his lone boxing fight? And if so, what do you make of it?
I saw a clip of one of his MMA fights when I heard I was going to fight him. But when I fight my opponents, I actually don't watch them until the week of the fight. I focus on myself. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing, and it works for me. I only watch the week because I just want to get a little gist of what could happen, what they could do. But I go in there with a blank page. It's easier to draw on a paper with space.
All right, I like that. Okay, let's go to our next question now. Let's go to my fellow Canadian, Cole Shelton of BJPenn.com. Cole, you're up.
All right, thanks, Errol. Question for both these guys is Vidal, UFC coach KSI. You said you're stopped coaching. What's training camp like now that you aren't having to focus as coach? Because you were coaching a lot of those UK guys at KSI and it's on Gib. Now it's fully focused on your fighting career.
You know what? I feel the same. I feel the same because I managed to separate my responsibilities, and that's why I step away from one or I do the other, because I understand how much dedication, focus, and time it takes to deliver and be the best in both. So when I'm coaching the guys, it's not a distraction away from my career because I'm solely focused on them. And then once that's done and they're resting and they're doing what they've been doing for years, I go back to what I've been doing for years, and the focus remains the same. So no distraction. Obviously, it's not like a background thought, but I feel the same. Mentally, same stuff.
And then,
Rashad, go ahead. Go ahead, Cole.
You kind of brought it up. Like, do you think you're being brought in here to lose because Vidal Riley signed to the Mayweather team, undefeated? He's kind of this highly touted prospect out of England. Like, is this a fight do you think you're gonna get smoked in?
Sheldon, what's up, man? What it do, man? No, it's not. But here's the thing: that's boxing. I mean, it's no secret to how boxing works. Boxing tries to build a fighter, so therefore they bring a fighter in that they feel as though it's not up to the caliber of the person that they're trying to push, and they want you to lose. But in this aspect, it's not the same thing that I don't know boxing. They think that MMA fighters don't use their jet. All these things. To me, that doesn't matter. Like I said, I respect my opponent. I respect all my opponents as far as what they do, where they come from, and the hard work that they put in. But listen, man, I took a fight in the UFC, my debut, on 9 days' notice in front of 20,000 people. I fought on huge stages, and I actually got moved up to the main card as I was going to the arena. I was supposed to be the first fight of the night. On my way to the arena, they stopped me and said, "Hey, man, we just moved you up to the main card." So pressure for me, I'm built for pressure, man. Like, I'm built for pressure, and some people are not. But when those lights are on and when I get hit, everybody's credentials is going to go out the window. It's going to boil down to who got the heart, who wanted more, and I feel as though, man, when people fight me, after they fight me, they feel as though they would never want to fight me again because I'm going to push you to that point to quit.
All right, one last question for Vidal and Rashad. Let's go to Harry Davies of SB Nation. Harry, you're up.
Hi, Rashad. Hi, Vidal. How you guys doing? My first question is for you, Rashad. Obviously,
Yes,
you turn 39 next month. And what's next for you after this fight? And if it depends on the outcome, if it goes well, do you stick in boxing? And if not, do you maybe go back to your MMA ventures?
Honestly, man, people, you started the question off with, honestly, man, people, you started the question off with, you're 39. But people who don't really do their research, they don't understand, man, my body doesn't have, I wasn't fighting coming up all these years. I didn't have my first fight until I was 30 years old. I didn't fight through the amateurs, none of that. And I excelled to the top, to the highest level of the sport within 5 years. So 39 means nothing to me. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go. I'm going to put on a show. And what's next for me? Would I like to stick to boxing? Of course, man. But like I said, the boxing game is so crap. It's not like when I beat Vidal that they're going to be, okay, we're going to push you, that we can build you with. It doesn't work like that. They're going to try to put me there with another top prospect that they think can beat me. But whatever is open for MMA, it opens up more doors for me for MMA. I just can't get an MMA fight. And I'm always training, I'm always boxing, and this is what my heart is right now. I'm concentrating on this fight. Whatever comes after that, whatever door God opens for me after that, I'm going to take it, man, full speed, because I'm not done. I'm just getting started.
Thanks, Rashad. And now for you, Vidal. Obviously, you've already fought some cards with some big buzz around them. How important is this event going forward for your career, as you continue to build up your record with more and more fights?
Of course, it's extremely important because this is major exposure to the traditional boxing world. I've accumulated a great following through another community, through my other ventures. But when it comes to boxing, especially over here in the States, this is a good statement for me to show my skills and prove what I'm saying about how long I've been in the game is actually shown in the ring. So yeah, it's a great stage. We've got two legends in the main event, my favorite fighter, Roy Jones, in the main event. And these things are all blessings and all opportunities. And we got to take them when they come, and we got to maximize the opportunity. That's what I'm looking to do.
Harry, thank you very much for the questions. And Vidal and Rashad, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck to you guys on November 28th.
Man, thanks for having us, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate you.
All right. All the best to Vidal and Rashad. Coming up next, we will hear from Badou Jack the Ripper and Blake McKernan. This is a light heavyweight bout. It will be the second fight on the main card, a very intriguing fight that is. But first, a little breaking news. I like to break news. So how about this? As I said, November 28th, that will be the date of this great pay-per-view. It goes down in Los Angeles. It is headlined by Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. That is the main event. You can watch it on pay-per-view all across this great world. And of course, on TysonOnTriller.com. And now we can officially reveal for the very first time that the event will take place at the world-famous Staples Center in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles, to be exact. Yes, the home of the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2020 world champions, home of LeBron James, of course, the LA Clippers, and the Los Angeles Kings. Now, this is going to be the first sporting event at the Staples Center since the pandemic. That's a really big deal. Now, unfortunately, as of right now, fans cannot attend. However, This will be taking place at the Staples Center. The great Mario Lopez will be hosting this amazing pay-per-view card. Jim Gray will be doing pre- and post-fight interviews. It's a star-studded event, and once again, this is the 4-fight main card. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. in the main event, a heavyweight fight, 8 rounds, 2 minutes each, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves. It will be scored by WBC, and they'll be competing for the Frontline Battle Belt, which we revealed earlier in the week. Cruiserweight action will feature Nate Robinson, formerly of the New York Knicks and many other NBA teams, the 3-time slam dunk champion, making his pro boxing debut against the one and only Jake Paul, who is undefeated, yes, 1-0 as a pro boxer. So they'll be going toe-to-toe, and there's a lot of bad blood there. We'll hear from them later in this press conference as well. Light heavyweight action, and the 2 men that we'll be hearing from in a matter of moments. Badou Jack going up against Blake McKernan of Sacramento, the 916, I do believe. And, of course, the first fight of the night, the 2 men who just joined us earlier, Rashad Coulter, formerly of the UFC, former MMA fighter. He says he is not done fighting in MMA, but for now he'll be going back to the world of boxing. He has 1 fight in the world of boxing back in 2015, going up against Vidal Riley, who is undefeated. For now, though, let us say hello to Badou Jack the Ripper and Blake McKernan, who are next up to join us. It is a great honor to be joined by these 2 gentlemen who I do believe their future is so bright they both have to wear shades. That's how exciting this fight is. Blake and Badou. Oh, okay, Badou doesn't... you didn't like my joke, Badou. Okay, fair enough. Great to be joined by you guys. Badou, let me ask you, you have one of the best records on this card. Boxing fans certainly know who you are. You're no stranger to big events. Were you familiar with Blake when you were offered this fight? And if not, what did you think when you were offered this fight?
No, I'm definitely not familiar with it. Still, I'm not. And, it was supposed to be an exhibition at first. So, I was like, I wasn't really into exhibitions. Then they said, no, it's going to be a real fight. So I guess this is the guy they picked, and, it's just another day at the office.
Blake, what do you make of Badou saying that he's still not familiar with you? This fight has obviously been official for quite some time. Still doesn't know who you are.
Right. I think that they're definitely overlooking me. I think that they're not looking at me as any type of threat. They're looking at me as probably an easy payday or a walkover fight. And that's something that they definitely shouldn't have done. They're going to learn very quickly that picking me for this fight was the wrong decision. This is a moment and opportunity that I've been being prepared and prepped for my entire life, and I'm ready to seize the moment.
I love it. All right, let's go to the media questions now. First up is Donna Corby of MMA Island. Donna, you're up.
Hi, first one for Blake. You mentioned there that they're overlooking you and that you're definitely the underdog going into this fight. What does a win against a former champion like Badou Jack do for your career?
Well, everybody that follows boxing knows that me beating Badou is going to, traject my career and my life in so many ways that I can't even fathom right now or even put into words. But, above everything, I'm just staying focused like I've always done throughout my entire career. I treat every single fight as if I'm getting ready for a world title fight. And knowing that when I show up on Fight Night, I'm going to showcase the skills that I need to leave victorious with my hands raised.
All right, Donna, thank you very much for
2
the
in your
question.
last 5.
Oh, go ahead, Donna. All right, you got one more.
Oh, sorry. Badou, just for you, you're 1-2-2 in your last 5. If you don't get the win, is this kind of do or die for you in your boxing career?
If I don't get the win? Do you say that? Yeah. The last fight was not a loss. The last fight I got robbed, and the fight before that I got headbutted. So that was an injury. So it was kind of hard to fight. But no, I'm looking forward to this fight. This is, to me, this is for charity. This is for my foundation, the Badou Jack Foundation. So this is all the proceeds go to my foundation to help kids, all over the world, to give them a fighting chance in life. And yeah, I'm gonna win this fight and then on to the next one.
All right, thank you very much for the questions, Donna. Great stuff there. Let's go to Gabriel Gonzalez next of H-Side Press.
Hey, thank you, Ariel. Question for Badou. You've been part of several traditional type of boxing cards What is it like to be part of this hybrid event? Not just streaming, but it's also co-headlined by social media stars, kind of like a exhibition crossover between Nate and Jake Paul.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a real fight card. I mean, like a normal fight card. It's more of an event, so I get it. So, I'm not used to fighting, before, there's a couple of YouTubers, but, it is what it is. I think of it more, as my charity, donate everything to my charity. That's what it's all about. It's not a typical fight card. So, yeah, I'm not mad about nothing like that. I'm just, this is for the kids.
Question to Blake, just, being part of a, hybrid event like this one.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, just what's it like, it's not a traditional boxing event. It's got a bit of a, the exhibition flair to it with Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. It's streaming. It's not on your traditional pay-per-view platform, and just what it's like to be part of this kind of event.
Yeah, coming into it, obviously, as Badu mentioned, it's completely different than a basic boxing match. It's more so of an event. But, with that said, I'm still treating it as a fight that I've prepared for any other time. And, I'm extremely thankful to be able to be even presented with this opportunity. I know Badu and their team, may not know too much about me, but I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thank you to Legends League and Triller. Ultimately, I'm just looking forward to go out here and being able to become more of a household name and be able to show this country and this world more so of who I am. And being able to share the ring with a seasoned veteran like Badu, I'm a man, I'll always show respect and give credit where credit is due. Being in the ring and sharing the ring with somebody like Badu Jack, the guy's definitely achieved a lot in his career, so you always got to give respect for that. But within that said, again, I think that him and his team are definitely overlooking me. And I feel like that's a big mistake because I'm showing up on fight night ready to go, prepped for war and ready for battle. And, I know that when I win this fight and leave victorious, it's definitely going to traject my career in ways that I can't even fathom right now. So, I'm just staying focused on the goal at hand and, staying focused on the things I need to do to be able to leave victorious.
All right, next up is my colleague over at ESPN, Eric Woodyard. Eric, you're up.
What's up, man? How you doing, Badu?
Good. How are you?
Hey, man, I was in Chicago for the Anthony Dirrell fight, so I saw you in the when you fought there and win the title and stuff like that. And for you, man, just seeing events like this, seeing Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, you was on the undercard of Mayweather when he fought McGregor. Yeah. What do you think this does for the business of sports? Showing that it could be non-traditional ways to have fights and continue to take it to the next level instead of just traditional ways. What do you think this does for boxing to really brand it out?
I mean, hopefully we can get some new fans to boxing. This is very different, but like I said, it's for my charity, and it's a big opportunity, and I'm just blessed and thankful for Tyson actually calling us. He called us and asked if we want to be the co-main event for his fight. I didn't even know that that he was going to fight. So I'm just thankful.
All right. Thank you very much for the question, Eric. And I do want to remind everyone that 3 of the 4 main card fights are official bouts, not exhibitions. I don't want to correct you, Badu, but they are official bouts. And I do want to remind people as well that you can watch this all over the world on pay-per-view, traditional or not, and of course on TysonOnTriller.com. Blake, I can't help but ask you this question. You hear Badu say that he doesn't know who you are and it's for his charity and all this stuff. What goes through your mind when you hear your opponent talking about you like this? Do you feel like it is disrespectful?
People could take it as that. It's kind of, comical to me. The fact that the number one rule in boxing in life is you should never underestimate anybody because you never know what anybody's capable of doing, right? In the sport of boxing, you never want to look past the fight that's right in front of you. You should never underestimate any of your opponents because, again, you have no idea their skill set or what they're capable of doing. What I can tell you and promise you is that Badu Jack has never faced or even shared the ring with a man of a caliber like myself. And the reason I say that is I'm a decorated combat vet. I've been this overseas. I've fought in war. I've served my country. I know what it feels like to look death straight in the eyes and to walk away and to survive. I've done it countless times. Staring at Badou Jack across the ring doesn't intimidate me in no way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm showing up, again, prepped for war and ready for battle, ready to showcase the skills that I need to leave victorious. And like I've done every single fight, I'm a man of positive affirmations, a man of God. I speak my greatness into existence. November 28th, I will go 14-0, and we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to continue to take this as a stepping stone and keep on moving up the ladder. This is destiny, is God and God's plan, man. Badou Jack is just one of the names and the people that are standing in my way right now, and I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with him and doing what I need to leave victorious on November 28th.
And Badou, I do want to let you know, I know you said you didn't know a lot about Blake. His nickname is the Beast because he spent 3.5 years as a machine gunner in the infantry, including 1 year in Iraq. You heard what he just said. I couldn't help but see you smile there. What is your response to what he just said?
I mean, I'm a quiet guy. I don't talk a lot of shit. We'll see fight night, but my team is telling me that he's been talking crazy. So I wonder who's overlooking who. And that I haven't been in the ring with somebody like that, that just, come on, man. I fought 8 world champions back to back. So, I mean, this guy's a club level fighter. So,
hey, not to interrupt, but nobody's talking crazy, man.
So,
I understand that you share the ring with world champions, but this is a different caliber. This is a different caliber and a different level, man.
He don't deserve to be on this stage. We gave him an opportunity, so, I mean, you should show a little respect,
Hey, I definitely got respect for you, man. I commend you on what you've done in and outside of the ring in your career and in your life. The number one thing that we both share is that we're fathers. At the end of the day, I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with you, putting on one hell of a show. I'm showing up prepared to die in that ring, to do whatever I have to leave victorious. But at the end of the night, what's most important is that you and I both make it home safe to our families, man. So with that said, nobody's overlooking anybody on my side. We understand perfectly what we're getting involved in, getting ready to walk into. I just hope that you start doing your homework and you're prepared and doing the same thing.
This guy actually, it's kind of funny. He reminds me of, what's the name of that guy that Mike Tyson fought? Peter McNeely. That's how he talks. Yes. But it's all good. It's a fight. What are you going to say? Yeah, I'm going to go in there and get my ass kicked? No. Of course. He got to believe in himself. And, this is the Hurt Business. Tune in to November 28th.
Badou, let me ask you, between now and November 28th, will you watch a single second of footage of his previous fights?
His team's already been watching footage of me. They've already been putting tabs on me.
Oh, okay. Your response, Badou?
Nah, I don't. I mean, I fought so many guys. I had 150 amateur fights. I fought so many great fighters. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about him. But I respect any man to step in the ring with me.
You and me both. Looking forward to sharing the ring with you, Badou, and I'll see you fight night, bro.
Club level fighter. I mean, that's the ultimate disrespect there, Blake. Don't deserve to be on the card. I'm assuming this is firing you up. We're less than a month away.
Hey, man, I'm over here smiling. It's humorous to me. The fact that, again, he thinks that I'm a club level fighter, it's okay. I understand, I'm 13-0. I'm ranked top 16 in the country in my weight division. Badou needs to beat me in order to save his career. That's what they need. Even though he has had some very tough fights, he's fought numerous world champions. Again, I give him credit where credit is due. The guy has had a phenomenal career, but he hasn't technically won a fight in 3 years. Him and his team need me to be an easy walkover fight to, in a sense, save his career. I believe that Badou, correct me if I'm wrong, he turns 37 before we fight. In my opinion, looking at his age and his record and how long he's been fighting, Badou's in a sense on a downward trajectory in his career. I'm on an uphill, in my career, and I'm just looking forward to, after winning this fight, seeing where this excels me to.
Well, I love it. If you weren't looking forward to this fight before this afternoon, I feel like I could speak for everyone and say we are looking forward to it now. Tremendous stuff, guys. Best of luck in the final month, and we look forward to seeing you on November 28th.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Badou Jack the Ripper and the one and only Blake McKernan. Now, coming up next, Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. will have their turn on the mic. Are you having fun yet? Because I sure as heck am. November 28th, pay-per-view, Tyson on Triller. Like I said at the top, something for everyone. A lot of people have been reaching out to me. My guy Daniel Cormier called me today. He said, Nate Robinson is going to be competing in boxing. The 3-time slam dunk champion is going to be stepping into the squared circle. And I said, yes, DC, that is in fact true. It's Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul in the co-main event. You see them right over there. Of course, we heard earlier today on this here press conference from Rashad Coulter, the former UFC fighter, and his opponent, Vidal Riley. Just heard from Badu Jack the Ripper and Blake McKernan, who has a phenomenal backstory. I touched on it a little bit, didn't give him his proper due. So do read up more on Blake's backstory and what an opportunity this is for Blake. And then, of course, you have Jake Paul, the younger brother of Logan Paul, who have taken the boxing scene by storm. He is 1-0 as a pro boxer, and he is going up against Nate Robinson. He has been engaged in a war of words with multiple fighters, the likes of Ryan Garcia to the great Bellator fighter Dylan Dennis, all trying to get their shots at Jake Paul. Ben Askren as well, the former UFC fighter, won championship and Bellator champion. But for now, it is Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. We will be hearing from them coming up next. But first, I don't know if you know this, but over on the Triller app, there's been a great docu-series that's been airing leading up to the big Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight. Here's a teaser in case you missed it.
The fight coming up with Mike and Roy Jones is going to be amazing because once Mike gets into fight mode, anything can happen.
Who want to beat Mike Tyson?
Roy Jones is pound for pound one of the all-time greats.
I see that look again. Focus, moving well.
The way that Mike was hitting that bag today, I feel sorry for the bag. On this shirt right here, it says 44. Hey, yo, who wants to be 45?
Not the RJ.
Flavor Flav. Again, you can watch that entire docuseries right now over on the Triller app. You can download it wherever you get your apps. And again, it's November 28th on TysonOnTriller.com. Also on pay-per-view all across the world. It's Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It will be refereed, by the way, by Ray Corona, longtime legendary boxing referee. It will be hosted by the one and only Mario Lopez, a.k.a. AC Slater, but of course now a world-renowned host. And Jim Gray, the legendary Jim Gray, will be doing pre- and post-fight interviews. Again, it's a 4-fight main card beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And as we announced earlier here on the press conference, it will be taking place at Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, the very first sporting event since everything essentially shut down in this country back in March. I do believe the last sporting event to take place at Staples Center was in early March, the first week of March, a hockey game, a NHL game between the Ottawa Senators and the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. will be competing for the WBC Frontline Battle Belt that was revealed earlier this week. That is the main event. But for now, let us go to the two participants in the co-main event. The one and only Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation, who is here joining us, I do believe, via the phone. You see his picture right over there. And the 3-time NBA slam dunk champion, the former New York Knick, the former Boston Celtic, the former Chicago Bull. The list goes on and on. The one and only Nate Robinson, who is making his pro boxing debut on November 28th. There is Jake Paul. His hair is joining us. Jake, are you with us right now? What's going on over there? Everyone showed up. Where are you?
Nothing.
Where are you joining us from, Jake?
I'm just chilling, man. I came to the hospital to get a little checkup. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But, bro, thank you for having me, bro. Huge fan.
Well, thank you. What happened to you, Jake? Why are you at the hospital?
We were having a little morning practice, and my team was afraid that I was turning into Iron Man. I punched a hole through a car.
Okay. Nate, what do you make of this? Are you worried that Jake isn't going to show up in a month?
Nah, he has to show up, man. This is his duty to.
Okay, well, we all look forward to it. Let me ask you, Nate. A lot of people have been asking me, is it really Nate Robinson? Like Nate Robinson, slam dunk Nate, the 3-time champ, the former Knick. He's coming to boxing. Could you tell people why you are doing this? Why have you decided to cross over into the world of boxing?
I mean, first and foremost, man, you know, I want to just thank God for the opportunity. This is a great opportunity for myself and you know, for my friends and family and everybody from Seattle and Oakland, California. So I just want to prove and show people that I'm one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the earth.
I love it. And if anyone's been following you on social media, they'll know that you've been putting in the work. You look tremendous. So, all right, let's go to the media questions now. Jake, hopefully you're still good to go and you'll be able to answer some of these. Corey Erdman of Boxing Scene, my fellow Canadian, up first.
Thanks, Ariel. Nate, I wanted to ask, and you brought up, obviously, your athleticism. Having been at the highest level in both basketball and in football, and now going through a professional boxing training camp, can you describe for us what the difference is between being in football shape, in basketball shape, and in pro boxing shape?
Oh man, honestly, man, it's a big difference. You know, boxing, it's a mental thing. You know, you do a lot of running. It's really physical. You know, basketball, football. It's a little bit of the same, but for me, shooting, jumpers, and tackling, and guarding guys playing defense is a little bit different than actually getting in the ring, hitting the mitts, and working on your conditioning and working on your mental aspect of the game.
Thanks, guys.
Corey, thank you very much for the question. Nate, how familiar are you with Jake Paul and maybe his brother as well? They're obviously very big stars. Were you familiar with him when you were offered this fight?
I mean, his brother, you see his brother on the Disney Channel,
Bro,
making,
you are dumb,
making people
Nate,
laugh.
You're dumb.
Him
You're dumb,
on Disney
Nate.
doing so much stuff, man. So I follow Jake's YouTube, of course. I mean, how can you not? I mean, listen, he's already interrupting the interview already.
Bro,
very
because you
disrespectful.
were the one that started this.
Very
You're the one that
disrespectful.
called me out.
And
You're the
for
one that
me,
called
it's just
me
gonna
out.
be fun to see him
You're
November
the one that started
28th.
talking shit on Instagram.
my
So of
God.
course you knew who I was. You were saying, "Oh, Jake's never fought a real athlete." Jake's
And
never
I
fought a real
have
athlete.
am I lying?
Shut-
Have you? You haven't.
Shut
No, you haven't.
up.
You're fighting only
Shut
YouTube. You
up.
and your
That
brother
doesn't
only
mean
fight
anything.
YouTubers. That's it, bro. So you're gonna fight a real athlete
And
for
who
the
have
first
you
time
fought?
in your life.
And who have you fought? You fought nobody.
Don't worry, I ain't
You
fight
suck.
nobody. I fight you. I'm gonna fight you.
You
I'm gonna
suck,
beat your
man.
ass. I'm gonna beat your
You're
ass
boring and you suck.
too. I know, man. Just come bring that same energy
You
November
know
28th,
you're boring.
bro.
You know you're
Yeah,
boring and
I'm
you know
very
you
boring.
suck. That's good. At least you know
Very
something.
boring.
And you sure as hell don't know how to box. You
I
sure
don't.
as hell don't know
I
how to
don't.
box.
And so once you show me November 28th, bro. That's all you
I'm
got to
gonna
do.
show you.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
what I'm gonna do, Nate. I'm gonna.
That's
do
what
that
I'm
for you.
talking
I'm gonna
about.
show
There you go. There you go.
You asked
That a
for
boy.
it. You
That a
asked
boy.
for it.
I
All right,
did.
Christmas. It's Christmas time, and I'm gonna give you everything you asked for because I'm
Thank
Santa
you.
Claus, baby.
Appreciate it. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll go to our next media question. Let's go back to Eric Woodyard of ESPN. Eric, you're up.
Hey, what's up, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
Man, got a chance to catch up with you before, man, a few weeks ago. But two-part question for you. Obviously, you spoke about the mental aspect of, trying to, get into this teams. You used to being a team sport guy. So, training for something where you're the only guy, just kind of talk about that process. And have you ever been this motivated to do something? I hear the trash talk. Just have you ever been this motivated to do something individually like this right now?
Nah, man, it's been pretty good. I mean, besides, getting ready for the draft, my younger days, training in the gym, just me and my coach, getting the shots up, preparing myself to be drafted in 2005. That was like pretty much the last time. So now getting the opportunity to come in and showcase what I can do and be ready November 28th it's been fun.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for the question. Jake, by the way, are you a big NBA fan? Were you a fan of Nate's back in the day?
Oh, I'm a huge fan. I'm Nate Robinson's #1 fan. I actually got one of his jerseys, and when I ordered it, there was only one left. So I can't believe I'm so lucky to get a Nate Robinson jersey. And every time I wear it out, they say, "Wow, I've never seen one of those before." Yeah. Huge Nate Robinson fan.
So cap.
Huge Nate Robinson fan.
Nate,
I asked
saw
him
on
for
your
a picture
Instagram-
the other day, and he said no. So apparently, he doesn't take pictures with his fans. I think he's a little bit of an asshole, but it's okay. I'm still a fan.
You're a fake fan,
And
bro. It's okay.
The problem is though is I'm gonna be bouncing his head off the canvas. And that's the only thing that's gonna be dribbling on November 28th, baby.
That's all he does is yap.
Okay, we'll go to. And by the way, Nate, did you really say no about the picture, or is that not
Yes.
true?
I don't take pictures with fake fans like him.
Okay, fair enough.
Only my
I'm
real
a real
fans.
fan, Nate. I bought one of your jerseys, bro. I bought one. Huge Nate Robinson fan, bro. Huge fan.
All right, for now, let's go to our next media question. Let's go to Jeremy with Fansided. Jeremy, you're up.
Hi, Nate. You had a really nice piece done on you by Eric for ESPN, and you talked about the first time that you stepped in the ring and you started sparring. Can you describe how far you've come from the first time that you stepped in the ring sparring to where you are today as a boxer?
Big time, man. Just the progress I've made over the months has been awesome. I think that getting the fight pushed back was a great deal for me. Learning
It saved
and
your life, Bubba.
preparation didn't save anything, bro. Don't worry. But it was just more time to focus and get right. Honestly, and just really show people the hard work that I put into this. Come November 28th, it's gonna be a great show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the question. Jake, I couldn't help but notice on Nate's Instagram a couple days ago, he said that you've grown up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You don't come from the mud like he come from. He doesn't even know if you know what that means.
He
What's
knows
your
what
response
that
to
is.
that?
Nate sounds like an idiot when he says that. His dad was in the NFL and his mom owns a beauty salon. My dad was a roofer. My mom was a nurse. We're from the mud, and he doesn't know shit. I work for everything I have. I'm a self-made millionaire. I'm a self-made millionaire at a young age, and I'd be mad too. I'd be mad too if I was Nate Robinson. But my daddy wasn't in the NFL. I didn't have rich parents.
Yeah, my dad
Nate
worked.
Robinson. So when you say you came from the mud,
no.
you don't know shit about coming from the mud.
All right, Jake, you're right.
Thank
You're
you.
right.
Once again.
You're right.
At least you can
You're
admit to
right.
it.
No,
At least
I'm
you
not
can
admitting
admit
to
to
that,
it.
bro. I'm not admitting to that. You don't know nothing.
You just said I'm right, but then you're saying you're not admitting to it.
You're an idiot, bro.
All right, guys. That was tremendous stuff. I appreciate it. We do have a couple of fan questions before we let you go. Let's go to. Okay, no fan questions. All right, no fan questions, guys. You did so well that we don't need any fan questions anymore.
Good. They want to take me off air.
Why? Why is that? I don't know why it is. You did a tremendous.
I think I'm too lit.
Nah.
You're too hot for this presser, guys. I want to wish you the best, and I can't wait. November 28th. Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. Thank you so much.
Bye, baby Nate. Bye. Love you, Ariel.
Square.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake. There he is, Jake Paul and the one and only Nate Robinson. Coming up next, it is the main event. It is Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. We'll be hearing from both of these men, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Who would have thought earlier this year we'd be talking about these two guys fighting, but they are fighting on November 28th live on pay-per-view, live on TysonOnTriller.com. For more on this matchup, let's throw to my main man, Eric, the hip-hop preacher Thomas, to set it all up.
Everyone fights for a reason. Everyone steps in that ring to prove something to someone. Some fight to show Father Time who's boss. Because they don't know how to back down. Some fight because it's who they are.
An incredible performance.
Because it drives them. Because it's in them. Because it is them. Some fight for glory. Some fight for respect. For pride. For passion. Because they love it. Because they need it. Everyone fights for a reason. Everyone fights to win. Because these are gladiators who aren't afraid to hurt, to be hurt. Warriors who dominate with skill and bad intentions. It doesn't matter why they fight. All that matters is who's standing at the end. Saturday, November 28th, live on pay-per-view. Triller presents Tyson versus Jones.
All right, if you don't get goosebumps watching that, I don't know if you have a pulse. Look at this. We've got two of the greatest athletes of all time, two of the greatest boxers of all time, the baddest man on the planet, the one and only Mike Tyson. Mr. Y'all must have forgot himself, the one and only Roy Jones Jr. Again, they do battle for the very first time on November 28th, live on TysonOnTriller.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is very exciting stuff and somewhat surreal, if I'm being honest, as a longtime fight fan. Mike, I'll start with you. I think the biggest question that everyone wants to know the answer to is why? Why at 54 years young? Why after you fought over 15 years ago, your last fight? Why are you coming back now?
Listen, I just feel magnificent. I've been training. Someone gave me a proposition to come fight. I believe it was Bob Sapp. And at first I said, hey, forget that. I don't want to fight nobody. Then a light bulb went off in my head and said, bing. What kind of rules would he like to fight? And he said, I said, would he box me under Marcus Queensberry? And then they called me, said yes. And then it went from him to someone else, and then from Shannon Briggs to someone else. And now I know I'm sitting here, I'm fighting Roy.
And yes, you are fighting Roy, and he's the biggest name of all those names that you just mentioned. Roy, when you were offered this fight against Mike Tyson, what was your initial reaction?
I mean, how can you say at a time when we're going through COVID, we got everything that everybody's faced with adversity right now. So while everybody's faced with adversity, you want to be a person who gives them something to look forward to, right? So when you get the biggest adversity to ever knock on your front door, to ring your phone, how can you say no?
November 28th at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. First up, as far as media questions are concerned, let's go to Gene Wang of the Washington Post. Gene, you're up.
Channel's called Viral.
Hey, Mike. So I wanted to ask you about your last fight, which was in Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. It's called Viral.
What do you recall from that night? Man. Not so much the fight itself, but kind of the aftermath of that fight. As you're leaving the ring, kind of what was going through your mind at that point, and your future.
I was happy to leave the ring, man. I dread even being in the ring at that time. I was fighting just for financial purposes and stuff. I was on a whole different. I was on drugs back then. I was a whole different person back then. You know, I have the desire to do this now and the will to do this now. And that guy that was in Washington D.C., he was just a ghost of me. I'm just ready to do this stuff, and I'm feeling really great. And I don't want to. I want the world to see how great I look.
Of Mike training at the plate, some viral footage of Mike that has surfaced, and if so, what do you think of how he looks?
Who, me?
Yeah, to you, Roy.
Oh yeah, I think he looked awesome. I mean, he looked very good. I was very proud to see him be able to bounce back the way he did, because most guys at 54, they start to count themselves out. And you got to think about boxing. When I came along at 32 years old, you were considered an old guy. You couldn't box no more. Now to see Mike be able to hit pads and hit the body bag the way he's doing it, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's crazy. But we're freaks. That's why this is such a big thing. We're two guys to the most explosive guys to ever touch a boxing ring. At 54, I would have watched him beat the mitts in the bag more rather than any other young guy right now, because it's so exciting. And at 51, I'm so fast that people are looking at it saying they got to be speeding this up. No, they're not. But when you got two legends like that, how can you not get right? He inspires me just by how hard he's working and how much he's preparing to get back in the ring. And he's 3 years older than me. So if he can do it, why can't I? I know I'm smaller, but it's what it is.
Harder than anything.
Exactly.
All right, next up, we'll go to Stephen Keating of Reuters. Stephen, you're up. Stephen, are you there? Stephen, you have to unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Roy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to ask, how did you, knowing that you're going against Mike Tyson, knowing what's at stake, knowing that you're fighting 8 rounds with the 12-ounce gloves, do you still prepare with that same intensity that you did back in the day? Do you still train with that same intensity that you did back in the day?
I honestly, you have to be a fool not to. You go in the ring with one of the most dangerous men to ever grace the boxing ring. How could you go in there with 12-ounce gloves on, which is only 2 ounces bigger than what you normally fight in? You got on 12-ounce gloves. You know, with one of the hardest punches in boxing history, the youngest heavyweight champ of all time, and you're gonna not prepare to your utmost intensity? Are you crazy? It should be even better or higher than your last time or your most intense times were, because this is a bigger situation.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much for the question. Let's go to my good friend Andres Ferrari of ESPN. Andres, you're up.
Thanks, Ariel. For both of you guys, how do you train for this fight compared to what's the biggest difference for training for this fight than when you were actively fighting in the sport? And are you doing any sparring before you go in the ring?
I'll be first. Yes, I look at films of Roy when he's at his best, because that's the guy that I anticipate fighting. I anticipate fighting him at his best. And I'm in the best of shape. And yes, I boxed up to 7 rounds so far. And it keeps improving. And I'm boxing younger guys and hungry guys. And they're ensuring me that from the looks of things, I'm doing very well. So I'm looking really forward to this. And this is going to be something I look at this, we're going to also do this from a charity perspective. So many people are going to benefit from this fight besides the fighters.
Roy, do you want to answer that?
What the question was again?
It was just, how are you preparing for the fight? And are you sparring?
Well, I prepare like I prepare for any other fight, because it's like you're fighting the great Mike Tyson. How can you not be prepared for that? Secondly, yes, I'm sparring. You better be sparring. I mean, how you gonna be ready to dodge punches if you're not getting them thrown at you not in training? So it'd be stupid to not spar when you're fighting the hardest punch you probably ever gonna face in your life. How could you not spar? You better be sparring and getting ready, and the guys you spar with better understand that you're sparring.
All right, next up, Manuk of the Los Angeles Times. Manuk, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time with the press conference today. I actually spoke with California State Athletic Commissioner Andy Foster, and he described this fight as a straight exhibition, going to be hard sparring. This question is for both Mike and Roy. How do you guys plan on engaging in this fight, knowing that it can't be a real fight because it's Ray Corona's job to separate you guys as soon as it gets heated?
Listen, I don't know what are you talking about? What's not a real fight? You got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, and I'm coming to fight and I hope he's coming to fight. And that's all you need to know.
First of all, if you think you can go in the ring with Mike Tyson, the last guy that did an exhibition with Mike got dropped in the first round. And if you don't know that, then there's something wrong with you. So who goes in the ring with the great legendary Mike Tyson and think, oh, this is the exhibition? 12-ounce gloves, no headgear? Really? This is an exhibition? Come on, bro. Be for real.
All right, up next, Ollie Salt of the Daily Star. Ollie, you're up.
I've got a question for Mike. Mike, given you're obviously considered the puncher in this fight, were you disappointed when it was changed to 2-minute rounds?
Absolutely. I'm sure they have their reasons for doing it, but you know, the women fight 2 minutes. But I have to understand, this is bigger than me. It has the charity exponent, and it's not all about me. So I guess the commissioner has more of an input than I do. So who am I to talk? I mean, it's happening that we're doing it.
How do you feel about that, Roy? That they moved
I wasn't
it to
happy.
2 minute
I'm
rounds?
not happy at all. Like he said, I'm not happy at all. That's for women. I kept fighting to the last minute. I'm like, why are we doing 2 minute rounds? I don't understand that. We're not women. We two of the best to ever do it. Why we gotta go 2 minute rounds? I mean, why? If we can't. If something gonna happen, it's gonna happen anyway. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It don't really matter. So for us, what difference does it make? Why cut it to 2 minutes? 2 minutes doesn't do anything for him nor me, to be honest with you. It cheats the fans out of it because that's their excitement. That gives us a little more time to get a little bit more fatigue, to set up a little bit better shot than we probably could set up in 2 minutes. So to me, it was all advantageous for everybody to keep it 3 minutes. But like he said, it's supposed to be a exhibition, charity event. Okay.
All right, up next, the legend, Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports. Kevin, you're up.
Thank you, Ariel. Question for Mike. Mike, how long has it been since you last felt as good as you do right now? And do you feel like you have to make any concessions to your...
Mike Tyson's gonna win.
Hey, listen, I don't know. The last time I was 215 pounds, I believe I was, 18 or 17 years old. So I'm really happy with everything that I've been doing. And it's just total confidence and self-affirmation. And man, it's just amazing. I'm just ready to do this stuff. Can't even explain it with words. I'm just ready to do this stuff.
Mike, I know you say that, when you get ready for a fight, you go to a different place, a different person starts to come out. Do you feel like that person is starting to come out again?
Absolutely. I can't even stay with my, the next 30 days, it'll be impossible for me to stay with my family. There's no way for them to live with me. They'll kick me out the house.
So is this a one-off for you, Mike? Or are you planning on several fights? Is this like the restart of a new chapter?
This is an organization. This is for the Legends Leagues only. So this is, I'm going to go as long as the league is working. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to help a lot of people. And my legend is going to be that I gave a lot more than I took.
Sorry about that. Roy, what about you? Is this a one and done, or do you plan on continuing to go after this fight?
I mean, for me, I usually judge about how I feel that night. I really wasn't planning on going anymore. I thought I was done. But when you get a call from Mike Tyson's team say, hey, Mike want to fight you, that's bucket list material. You feel me? I mean, you can't turn. That's something that everywhere I go in life, the first thing a young kid would ask me, hey, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? And I don't know why they used to always ask me that, but they always, their kids' first question is, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? Now I don't have to say no more. I'm so glad to get this opportunity because now I can say, yes, I did. I sure did.
And that will happen.
And guess what? Tune in 28, you'll see how it go.
Yes, it's November 28th at the Staples Center. Okay, Kelsey McCarson of Heavy and Bleacher Report, you're up.
Thanks, Helani. Mike and Roy, this is actually for both of you guys. Floyd Mayweather had an epic rant about there's too many sanctioning belts, too many sanctioning bodies involved in boxing. So I'm wondering why you two guys, two of the biggest stars in the sport, are involving the WBC in this, and so like why involve them at all? or any of the Alphabet organizations? Why is that important?
First of all, I don't give a damn what nobody say. It ain't got to do with me. I don't give a damn what none of them say. I do what I do. My business is my business. I don't care what he and nobody else say. This ain't got nothing to do with him. So he can stay over there in his lane, do what he do. Let me do what I do. Secondly, when I was fighting, I wasn't like them. I went and got every belt possible that I could get in my weight class at the time. And Mike did the same thing. We come from the old school. It wasn't no talk about we'll take this with. No. We want every belt you got. I don't care what kind of belt it is. It can be the Joe Patty Seafood belt. I want that. I don't care what it was. If you had a belt in my weight class in my prime, I wanted that. So right now, you think you want to see me perform, you put a belt on the line. I'm sorry, but it's like drugs. I just can't say no. You offer me a title, you got me, baby. We got to do it now. So it don't mean nothing to people like him, maybe, but it meant the world to me.
And he said it all. It's like drugs.
All right, next up, Steven Jorgensen of Sport Build. Steven, you're up.
Yeah, thank you very much. This one's for Mike. I wanted to ask you, you were known in the past as the baddest man on the planet, the world's most dangerous man. What is Mike Tyson like right now? Are you approaching that old self, that old Mike Tyson from the past?
Well, no. Mike Tyson is preparing to meet God eventually. But before he do, he has things that he wants to accomplish. And this exhibition is one of them.
All right, thank you for the question. By the way, Mike, could I ask you, I've seen you work with Rafael Cordero, the great MMA trainer. Will he be your head trainer going into this fight? And why did you pick him? Of all the coaches that you could choose, why did you choose an MMA coach to be your coach?
Well, we choose him with my head coach, Billy White. But he's a great trainer. I'm so happy to have him in my corner. The energy that he possesses, it's such a winning idea to have him. Because he's all about winning. He's a great man. I love him so dearly. I have a great team of like family members energy. It's a family energy. We ready to go to war.
All right, next up, Aid of BBC. Aid, you're up.
Hi, Mike. When you walked away from boxing 15 years ago, you said it was because physically you couldn't perform at the level that you wanted anymore. How physical have your sparring sessions been, and what gives you the confidence that your body will respond the way you want it to respond on fight?
Well, I'm the only boss. If you don't kick my ass, you're fired. So that's how the sparring's going. Everyone's doing their best, and if you're not doing your best to hit me, you have to go home. That's what sparring is. That's what fighting is all about. If I'm paying a guy to kick my ass, if he doesn't kick my ass, he has to go. He's fired.
All right, up next, Neil Barker of the AP. Neil, you're up.
Hello, gents. Nice to see you. Greetings from London. I just wondered, have the health implications of this fight crossed either of your minds? Obviously, there's lots of critics out there saying you guys shouldn't even be doing this. What precautions are you taking? How do you feel about it just weeks out now from this showdown?
Me and Roy Jones superseded the physical test on all the programs they gave us. So what did that tell you?
Roy, you want to jump in on that one, or just Mike?
What does that tell you?
All right, fair enough. Does it bother you? Does it bother?
You did it better than Young Boy.
Yes, I do want to remind people WBC is sanctioning this fight. Ray Corona is the referee. Yes, it is the 2-minute rounds, but no headgear, 12-ounce gloves to both men and to the WBC. It is considered a real fight, not a fake fight or something of that nature. Does it bother you, Mike, that people are implying that you guys will just do a friendly sparring match, that you're not going to go full steam ahead? Does that annoy you?
Well, no one I know think that. No one that supports me believes that. I don't believe they could even cipher that.
All right, let's go to Howie of the New York Post. Howie, you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going? For Mike and Roy, I'm curious. I mean, regardless of what happens next month, is there a curiosity between you guys? What would happen if you guys fought 20 years ago?
Well, we had talked about that. I went out to Texas. He was in Texas, Houston at the time, and we talked about it, but it just never materialized.
All right, thank you very much to the media. We're actually going to get to one fan question here. Let's go to a young woman named Sarai who has a little boxing background of her own. Sarai, you're up.
Hi, my name is Sarai Brownell. I'm 15 years old. I'm a USA Boxing 12-time national champion. I'm also a part of the USA Junior High Performance team. And the question I wanted to ask Mike was, what is your mindset like when you're going in the ring? And what is your mindset going to be like when you get in the ring with Roy?
My mindset is totally bliss. This is something I've done all my life since I was 13 years old. I'm more evolved now than I've ever been. My objective is to go in there with the best intentions of my life to disable my opponent. And that's just what it is.
All right, thank you very much to Sarai, and thank you very much to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Again, it is to see you sitting here in front of us. We are less than a month away, November 28th on TysonOnTriller.com, and also all over the world on pay-per-view. It's going down from the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. It's a heavyweight fight sanctioned by the WBC, and no headgear, no rules stopping these two from going full force. We will see who the better man is, the 54-year-old Mike Tyson or the 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr. Thank you so much for the time, guys, and best of luck to you in the final month of training.
Thank you.
All the best. There they are, the one and only Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Again, November 28th, live on pay-per-view. Tyson versus Jones. Who would have thunk it? But it's going down in less than a month. Also, Jake Paul, Nate Robinson, Blake McKernan, Badu Jack, and Vidal Riley, and Rashad Coulter. Again, November 28th from the Staples Center, 9 p.m. Eastern. TysonOnTriller.com. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. Thank you very much to the media. And, of course, thank you to all the fighters. We'll talk to you soon.
Results come in a little later a couple days later than we normally get them. But again, keep in mind, this is not unusual in some cases. Military ballots have, I think in the election code, a week to come in. So they've always been counted late. It's just there haven't been as many absentee ballots coming in as there are right now in Pennsylvania. So I think, did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Secretary Picard, this question is for you. Could you elaborate a bit on the difference between the voting systems? We've had a number of people contact us that are worried about their votes and whether they'll be counted, because the fact that one polling place is saying to use black pins versus black markers. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So in Pennsylvania, when we mandated at the Department of State that every one of the 67 counties upgrade their voting systems to new voter verifiable paper trail secure systems, we knew that we have a great Commonwealth. And in Pennsylvania, the counties have the authority to select among certified voting systems that the Department of State certifies. They actually have to be certified by both state and federal government. So we created new security standards and new accessibility standards, and we ended up certifying 5 different manufacturers, and really it ended up being probably between 20 and 25 different types of systems and configurations. And every one of them meets our security standards, our accessibility standards, and every component of Pennsylvania, of the Pennsylvania statutes that they require for voting systems in Pennsylvania. So though they all look a little different and feel a little different, they all meet the highest standards of security and accessibility, and they all have a voter verifiable paper trail. So, and of course, every precinct in Pennsylvania is also mandated under federal law to provide an ADA accessible ballot marking device. Some counties allow all voters to use it, some try to limit it to voters with disabilities. Either way, those are all within the context of the law, and again, meet the highest standards of security and accessibility. So every voter, no matter how you vote, where you vote, you can have tremendous confidence that your vote is secure and your ballots will be counted accurately.
If we break that down a little bit more here, like for instance, the Dominion system recommends that you use a black marker versus a black pin. There are voters who have reached out to us who said, oh, well, I was told that if you use a black marker for this system, it'll be thrown out.
No. So the type of pen is really about the ability for the scanner to read the ballot. So let's say you mark your circles, I don't know, with a red pen, which you're really, most systems work with black or blue. The Dominion system, like Montgomery County, tends to, say that black is better. It just is read better by the scanner. But if it's not read by the scanner, it will be read by a person. So no ballot is rejected or not counted because of the wrong, as long as you've filled in the circles, you haven't, done things that would violate your vote, like, I don't know, putting X's through things and arrows and things that wouldn't constitute a vote. It doesn't matter. Your vote will be counted as long as they could determine the voter's intent. Sure. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
You were just watching Pennsylvania officials give an update on the election there. We're back after a break. You're streaming Red and Blue.
Go to the ends of the earth.
Right now.
We got something crazy. And reach for the stars.
Here we are.
Time.
Yes, it's my comeback.
Hey, this is pretty fun. But wait, there's more.
Experience thought-provoking,
Welcome to the idea of being a human being.
innovative, and truly original reporting.
Look through a telescope and go, wow.
Because there's always something new under the sun on CBS Sunday morning.
COVID has taken the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Rural areas like this here on Navajo Nation are especially hit hard.
15 to 30% of our Navajo citizens don't have running water.
In any indigenous reservation, there is a shortage of physicians.
Native Americans are amongst the most vulnerable and hardest hit by COVID.
Yeah, the more we lose our elders to COVID-19, the more we lose our language and our way of life.
We need to bring awareness to the attention of Washington, D.C. and United States citizens that there is a need to focus on the first citizens of this country.
In 60 years, we went from about 100,000 factory workers to probably about 7,000.
Off in the distance, you can see some factories that are still humming, but most of them are just kind of abandoned.
The restaurant industry right now is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in America. And yet it continues to be the absolute lowest paying employer in the United States.
Barely anybody's making enough to live.
You're donating plasma to get by.
It's literally a slave wage.
I don't remember growing up like this. My mom didn't have to go to food banks. It's pretty sad.
Even really young kids are feeling what's going on right now. How should parents be talking to them about this whole question of racial justice?
How do we embrace this moment and turn it into real change?
What we really must focus on is moving from protesting to policy.
Join Gail, Anthony, and Tony on CBS This Morning.
CBSN Los Angeles. Get local news, breaking news, anytime, anywhere.
It's easy to find us, and it's free.
Download the CBS News app on your favorite devices CBSN Los Angeles, streaming 24/7.
You can watch CBSN 24/7.
I've got an amazing story to share with you.
I understand you have some breaking news.
How does it all play out?
It's quite an adventure here at CBSN.
It's been a day.
Coming up, Americans didn't just vote for candidates this election. Which states passed ballot provisions and how they could impact your daily life? Stay with us. You're streaming Red and Blue.
Go to the ends of the earth.
Right now.
We got something crazy. And reach for the stars.
Here we are.
Time.
Yes, it's my comeback.
Hey, this is pretty fun.
But wait, there's more.
Experience thought-provoking,
Welcome to the idea of being a human being.
innovative,
Da-da-da-da.
and truly original reporting.
Look through a telescope and go, wow.
Because there's always something new under the sun on CBS Sunday morning.
COVID has taken the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Rural areas like this here in Navajo Nation are especially hit hard.
15 to 30% of our Navajo citizens don't have running water.
In any indigenous reservation, there is a shortage of physicians.
Native Americans are amongst the most vulnerable and hardest hit by COVID.
Yeah, the more we lose our elders to COVID-19, the more we lose our language and our way of life.
We need to bring awareness to the attention of Washington, D.C. and United States citizens that there is a need to focus on the first citizens of this country.
In 60 years, we went from about 100,000 factory workers to probably about 7,000.
Off in the distance, you can see some factories that are still humming, but most of them are just kind of abandoned.
The restaurant industry right now is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in America. And yet it continues to be the absolute lowest paying employer in the United States.
Barely anybody's making enough to live.
You were donating plasma to get by.
It's literally a slave wage.
I don't remember growing up like this. My mom didn't have to go to food banks. It's pretty sad.
Even really young kids are feeling what's going on right now. How should parents be talking to them about this whole question of racial justice?
How do we embrace this moment and turn it into real change?
What we really must focus on is moving from protesting to policy.
Join Gail, Anthony, and Tony on CBS This Morning.
CBSN Los Angeles. Get local news, breaking news, anytime, anywhere.
It's easy to find us, and it's free.
Download the CBS News app on your favorite devices. CBSN Los Angeles, streaming 24/7.
You can watch CBSN 24/7.
I've got an amazing story to share with you.
I understand you have some breaking news.
How does it all play out?
It's quite an adventure here at CBSN.
It's been a day.
This election has seen a number of incidents of attempted interference. Unfortunately, some of those efforts may have been effective. As first reported yesterday, the FBI is investigating a wave of robocalls that told voters to stay home on Election Day. Many of those calls were made in the battleground of Michigan. For more on this, let's bring in CNET senior producer Dan Patterson. Hi there, Dan. So this is concerning, but do we have any way to gauge the effectiveness of those robocalls? And does the FBI have any leads on who is behind them?
Good to see you, Elaine. So initially, we had reports that were confirmed by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel saying that residents were receiving robocalls instructing them that because of long lines to vote yesterday or the next day, as in today. We saw similar calls go out in Michigan, Iowa, Nebraska, and Georgia. Although, unfortunately, there is no real way to gauge the effectiveness of calls like this. We do know that political advertising and what we call GOTV, that's get out the vote, which robocalls can fall into, is effective. So we have no reason to believe that calls like this would not be effective, especially when you target voters who are not necessarily dialed into Twitter or Facebook or News 24/7. The FBI has been investigating this. We don't have leads on this, but what we do know is that our cell phones are incredibly vulnerable. All of our voting information is publicly available through the Secretary of State's office, and you can purchase tools that allow you to see incredibly granular details about people, including their cell phone number and their home address. So it's real easy to kind of astroturf or push out these inauthentic disinformation campaigns designed to fool or mislead voters. We'll continue speaking with the FBI, but right now we just don't have any attribution information.
Well, Dan, I also want to ask you about QAnon. You've done a lot of reporting on this group. It has developed from a fringe conspiracy group to a political force in the GOP over the past 6 months. Now, one of their candidates, Marjorie Taylor Greene, just won a seat in Congress. Tell us a bit about her, and how did other candidates supporting QAnon do?
Okay, so QAnon has received a ton of media attention in the last 6 months, but it really did start off as this kind of fringe group that believes all kinds of different theories. Marjorie Taylor Greene, running in Georgia, was one of the most prominent QAnon candidates, or at least she'd expressed sympathies for the group. She kind of walked those back in the last few weeks, but there were a lot of candidates who expressed support for QAnon across the political spectrum. In fact, there were 27 running for Congress, 4 who were running for Senate, and the rest for the House. Now, QAnon was and remains a powerful force across social media in terms of disinformation, but they weren't so effective at the ballot box. Marjorie Taylor Greene did win, but another QAnon candidate who has received widespread attention in the alt-right, Laura Loomer, lost her race, and a number of the other House races lost. One of the most prominent Senate races in Oregon, Jo Ray Perkins, she won her primary with over 50% of the GOP vote, but she lost pretty decisively, 59-38. She had compared faith in QAnon to faith in Jesus Christ, and was connected to a lot of other QAnon accounts. Now, we're still kind of looking at the money, how a number of these candidates have raised money and where the money is going to go after the fact. But right now, it seems like there was a pretty widespread rejection of QAnon across the political spectrum last night.
Well, Dan, do you think that this election has taught us anything more about our vulnerabilities when it comes to election interference?
I think, Elaine, every 2 years, we're going to have a larger conversation about election interference that will kind of evolve as technology evolves. And learning is that there are technical vulnerabilities, cyber vulnerabilities, hacking vulnerabilities, that do exist within our electoral system. But we've seen this shift in the last 18 to 36 months, at least in terms of the InfoSec and people who kind of look at information operation campaigns, and they see that social media remains one of the most valuable targets. So one of the primary targets, the threat, the thing that we're most vulnerable to is maybe ourselves, our own ability to be manipulated. And social media is going to continue to be one of those vectors.
All right, well, hopefully some awareness will at least help some people pause and try and ask themselves some questions before they take information they find on social media at just face value. Dan Patterson for us. Dan, thank you very much.
Good to see you, Elaine.
People from around the world are closely watching the presidential race here in the U.S. Ian Lee has more on the global reaction.
Bonjour à tous. L'édition spéciale se poursuit. Commentators around the world filled the airways.
Good evening. It's the election the whole world is watching.
About the U.S. presidential election. In every language, you could sense the uncertainty. Many Europeans are surprised the results didn't come straight away.
A bit anticlimactic waking up and there's no result after all the build-up.
Just very sad, just like shocked that it's so close.
Underscoring how pivotal the world sees the U.S. election, the hashtags Trump, Biden, and U.S. elections 2020 are trending across Europe and around the globe. A presidential election doesn't just determine who will lead the U.S. For America's allies, it selects their partner for the next 4 years.
The UK-US relationship is in great shape, and we're confident that it will go from strength to strength.
While America's rivals like China, Iran, and Russia also have an interest in how the results play out going forward. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
That does it for today. You can stream Red and Blue Monday to Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And a reminder, to watch previous episodes of the program, you can stream them anytime on the CBS News website. Just head to cbsnews.com/red and blue.
The reboot of Roseanne is over.
Kevin Hart stepped down following an outcry.
Sanders is retracting endorsement.
When institutions are criticized, that shame can be productive.
The editor-in-chief of Bon Appetit magazine has resigned.
I focus on people who have hoarded power, money, and status.
What folks are doing is saying that this is not acceptable for.
You're simply failing to reason.
Why the is he here?
I remember comments like, "You deserve to die."
We're human. We've all made 1,000 mistakes.
Every Sunday night at 8 on CBSN. Stop.
There's a guilty until proven innocent mentality with a lot of these social media mobs.
Think.
This idea there's something wrong with you if you're fat, that you're ugly.
And stream out loud.
Companies are operating the largest system of censorship that the world has ever known.
Opening anywhere you want to see them. Sunday nights at 8, only on CBS 7.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now.
Message that this is urgent. I try to be a voice for the voiceless.
I'm here to fight for my right to have a planet.
The government has not taken action on climate change.
They want to stop the production of energy here in the United States, and it's really an anti-American policy.
Young people have the most at stake.
We're seeing stronger trees, stronger droughts. We are racing against time. The climate crisis is first and foremost a human issue.